Good evening. How are you doing? Good evening, everyone. If you're here, please say hi and tell us where you're from. I'm just going to go into the group. Okay. There is a background noise. Okay. But not that significant. Let's see. Welcome, everyone.
There is a background noise.
Okay. Yes. It's my fan. I need some air. So just wanted to make sure that wasn't disturbing anyone. How are you doing? Hey Hassan, good evening. Can I get a duplex with 10K down with that will cash flow? 10K down from where? How much is the property? Maybe, right? What kind of lending are you using? Are you using Hey Simply That? Instagram, hi Instagram, uh see Facebook, my group.
Are you using Hey
Oh,
Simply
sorry
That?
about that. Okay, hi Meg, how are you? Good evening. How's everyone doing? Good evening. How are you? Let's see. Who's here? Hey, hey, good evening. Hi Meg. If you're here, just say hi and I welcome you to our live session tonight. If you're here, just say hi in the comments so we can all say hi to you as well. And I would like to say hi to you as well. Hey, Tarsha, good evening. How are you? Hey, I am good, thank you. Welcome. How are y'all doing, guys? So I got a question here that was saying, can I get a duplex with 10K down that will cash flow? Yes. Depends on the price and where you're looking. If your lender only requires you to put 5% down, which is uh, 5% down for purchase price before repairs. Suddenly, it's so funny how you see comments on Instagram and they're like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to put 20K? How are you going to turn 20K into 2 million or $1 million? How are you going to, well, like, if you think about it, there are definitely ways to do all of that. So it's not impossible to get a duplex that will cash flow with a 10K down. And we actually have lenders that with experience would fund you at 100% and you only need to come up with closing costs. So depends on who you're using as lender, depends on your strategy, what kind of strategies are you using. Are you just gonna go by full price at 10K down? I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would buy a property that has no equity at full price. So yes, it is possible to do that. Welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well. So we're gonna dive into the training in a moment. I'm gonna see how I can share my slides. Hey Funke. Good evening, Cambris. How are you? Hey everyone. Okay. If you're here, just type in the comments your name and where you're watching from. Hi Adebo Wale. Good evening. And I'm gonna start to share my resource for tonight. Okay, so bear with me a moment. I just love to most times I have you guys see stuff for yourself so that you have more um, you're able to retain the information more. So let's do that today as well. I'm just going to move my stuff around. I have a lot of tabs open. Please continue to introduce yourself in the comments, and I am going to share what I got tonight. Okay, so share. And this is Welcome, everyone. Good evening. How are you? Good evening. I welcome you. It'll be just a moment. We have another slide here, and I'm gonna try to do side by side today, where my face doesn't get too minimized, because I want to be able to keep that eye contact if possible. So let's do this again. Bear with me. You know how it is with technology. So let's hope this works this time. It should. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Please introduce yourself in the comments and where you're from so we can say hi to you. All right. So here we go. Gonna do share. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Hey guys, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Okay, can you see everything? Oh, okay, still minimized. So I'm gonna come up a little bit bolder. Bolder. How about now? This is better. Good evening. How are you doing? All right, so let's get right into it. I like this. This is way better. Thank you for joining us. And just keep the comments coming. And if you have any questions as we go, type those questions in the comments so we can go over them together afterwards. Okay? As you are aware, hopefully, if you're not new here, my name is Yinka Olumorin. I am a coach on a wonderful platform, Acquire Real Estate. And what we do is do deals year round, following the trends or following the whatever the market dictates. So year round, regardless of what markets we're in, we're taking advantage of that particular market to do deals. And so that's what real estate investing is all about. And doing deals means buying properties and adding properties to your portfolio for passive income. So if you have passive income, then you don't have to worry about clocking in and clocking out and being tensed because of finances, things not meeting up with each other, ends not meeting, and all of that stuff. So if your income doesn't have to depend on your time, right? Things are at a different level. You have your financial freedom, or maybe you're on the pathway there, but you also have your time freedom, which is also a great thing. And that's why real estate investing is worth it for everyone. I am in Connecticut, Ed Morin. Ed Morin. Hi, Ed Morin. Thank you for joining. You're asking what state I'm in. I am in Connecticut. Members are nationwide. Or over 200 Acquire Real Estate members are nationwide. So welcome and thank you for joining us. All right, so we're going to get right into it. It's important to talk about the difference between flipping or renting, right? Because many times people are just drawn to the profits on flips or maybe the passive income on rents, and you're like, I don't want to stress out. I don't want to lose a deal. I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I'm just going to rent it. But even at that, you still have to be careful. You still have to know what you're doing. And that's what we want to talk about tonight. So it's very important. It can be the difference between losing a lot of money or saving a lot of money. And we're talking thousands and tens of thousands in deals, right? So knowing what you're doing is so important. Ed Morin says, I'm watching from Camp Pendleton, California. Okay, how are the prices over there? Expensive? Are they on the lower side? I know some places and some parts of California are probably not as high as others. So where are you at? Is real estate expensive? And what are you doing in real estate? What is your activity like in real estate over there? So please feel free to share with us as we go into the training tonight. And where is it? Okay, cool. So yes, let's go right into it. To flip or to rents. And we're just going to go into case studies and just kind of go deep diving into the little numbers, not too complicated to make you feel confused, but just really something that gives you the actual knowledge of what we're doing while we're making decisions. Okay. So here is a property. So we have this nice property you're looking to purchase. It's cute. It looks attractive, and you're thinking, should I rent this property or should I flip it, sell it, make some chunky income, or should I flip, or should I sell, or should I rent this property? Okay, so of course, flipping is selling, right? So let's say this property you're buying at $170,000, right? So this property is $170,000, and because it's not in fully updated um, states, the ARV, what we mean by ARV is the after repair value, which means that it's going to sell for $250,000 after you update this property. Okay, so we have this buy price at $170,000, and we have this after repair value, the amount you're going to sell this property for after updating the property. Okay. And this property, you looked in the market. Hi, Jania, how are you? You looked on your market and you saw that other properties are renting for 2,300. So these properties are looking like this particular one. It's the same thing. There's not a lot of difference. It's the same how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. It's this kind of similar square footage, similar finish. Right. So it's going to rent for 2,300 is what you came up with. And you have expenses, monthly expenses at $300, right? Are you following? If you're following, say I'm following. So I know that we're not losing anyone. Hey, Hey everyone, and it's tenant friendly. Oh, okay, cool. So you are in Hey, I'm just stepping out of this a moment. Edmarin says your area is super expensive. His area is super expensive in California. You invest in Cleveland, Ohio. That's pretty cool. Oh, nice. Cool. So you're an out of state investor. What do you do? Do you do flips? Do you do rentals? Are you doing single families? Are you doing multi-families? What's your portfolio like? Or are you brand new at this? So please feel free to share that. And you said California is tenant friendly. That's a good thing. How about Cleveland, Ohio? Right? Do you invest in California as well? Okay, so back to our slide. The expense on this particular property is 300. Okay, and hopefully when I step out and step back in, it kind of gives you some time to digest the numbers. All right, so mortgage interest. Okay, cool. Thank you. I see comments here saying I'm following. Tarsha says following. Funke Jania says following. Cool. A mortgage is at an interest rate of 6%. Guys, if you don't know, interest rates are high right now. You gotta wake up. Need some morning coffee. Interest rates are pretty high, usually ranging on the low end 6%, on the high end 9% plus. Okay. For 30 amortized mortgages, like long term mortgages. So we're not even talking about flips or all those. But we're still making money, right? We're still doing deals. We're still putting the numbers together. Anything that doesn't make sense, we throw out the window. Okay. So mortgage interest rate is at 6%. So your mortgage is now at around 1,500. You have some additional maybe tax insurance in there. So you're paying 1,500 in mortgage. So we're trying to figure whether to rent or to flip this property. Are we renting or are we flipping? Should we be renting this property? Should we be flipping this property? What do you guys think? Let me know. What do you think? Drop that in the comment. To rent or to flip? Let's see who can predict what's gonna happen with this one. Are you gonna rent? Or are you gonna flip? What you think? Ed Moran says, I do single family, I'm new, I'm active duty military. Thank you for your service and thank you for joining us tonight. I had my first rental last year, June. Congratulations. I hope the rental property is doing great and cash flowing. How are you finding the real estate investing life? Do you like it? Do you feel like you want to do more deals? Are you getting there? You guys, can I know if you think you're gonna rent? You don't have to be 100% sure. Jania says to rent. Okay, cool. Who else thinks so? Would you rent? Would you flip this property? I know you don't have a lot of information on the flip side, maybe, but yeah, let's see what you think. Maybe it's just cute to flip, right? Right? Okay. So I'm going on there. I have one person saying to rent. I'm not sure anybody else said anything. Ed Moran says, I'm loving it. Cool. Okay. Hey, Farida. Farida says, flip. Thank you for thinking differently, right? Tarsha says, rent. Cool. Okay. Okay, if you have reasons, definitely put those in the comments and let us know why you would rent or flip. Ed Moran says I am renting. Okay, cool. Funke says rent. All right. So you guys want to rent? All right. Let's look a little bit at some surface numbers. There's some numbers here, and I think there is so Yum says it's costly already. I will flip. Cash flow is barely 500 per KO. I like your I don't know what KO means. Maybe that's per month. Okay, cool. I like your line of thoughts and it's cool. Okay. Nice. Thank you for explaining that. All right. So she says people say flip, people say rent. I think most people say rent. Shola says flip. Ruth says rent. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so let's see. All right, so cash flow. So cash flow, someone already calculated this cash flow for us in the comments. So you're for cash flow, you're actually subtracting 300 from your rent. If your tenant is paying 2,300, you subtract that 300 in other expenses and then you subtract your mortgage to arrive at your cash flow, right? So your cash flow is 500, right? So what do you guys think to rent? I would rent based on the FMV. What's FMV, please? I'm not sure what you mean by FMV. I don't know. Please explain. So, okay. Ed Moran says $500 is great cash flow. Mortgage and expenses covered by tenants. I kind of agree because I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think you would? Is this a deal or no deal, guys? Deal or no deal? Fair market value. Oh, thank you, guys. I'm sorry. Full market value, fair market value. So are you saying fair market value for rental, for monthly rental income or monthly rental? Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So what do you think? Tarsha says, I want more than $500. I want more. Okay. Yamop says it's $1,000 above. $1,000 above cash flow is ideal. No deal. Okay. 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 Well, so Yamop, and we don't mind you telling us your real name, your actual name. This is probably like an Instagram nickname. That way we're addressing you correctly. You want more than 500, and somebody else here says $1,000 above cash flow is ideal. So we're talking per unit for one single family property. So if you want to tell us what you're doing for investing, if this number you have been seeing in this current market with the high interest rates, is this a number that you've been seeing in this market with the current interest rates? Are you investing in single family? Hi Lola, nice to meet you. Are you, what do you do for invest? Are you currently an investor, or is this something that you want to see happen at $1,000 cash flow, which is extremely possible, right? On a single family property, if you're buying that property for cash, and let's say you put in, yeah, you should be earning definitely more, right? If it's like, let's say you bought property for 60K or something in a very cheap area, and it has really high cash flow. It might be a dangerous area though, right? Because sometimes crime rates and all of that, you kind of get to see that in very cheap housing areas. But you can cash flow a lot if you're buying for cash. If you have a mortgage on an average price or low price or low ARV property, maybe not. Ed Moran says flip is also good. Okay, for rental, yes, I'm a realtor, builder, and investor. Okay, cool. So have you been seeing this number on a single family property with a mortgage, right? So thank you for being here and contributing. Yeah. Okay. So now here's what I'm gonna say. I think it's a deal in this market with the 6 to 9% interest rates. Based on these numbers, right? Based on these numbers, I mean, you're not looking to gain financial freedom from this one single family right here with your small um, down payment or whatever you've put in here. But hey, we're going to dive into this a little bit. But it is a deal in my books, right? Don't worry, things will get better. So if let's say you're at 6% interest rates, if you were at 3% back in the days or just a few years ago, yeah, you can say I'm not doing 500. I have to find the perfect deal. Then you're going to be passing on a lot of deals, right? But this is not bad, and there's a reason why it's not bad, because this is not the only thing you're getting from this property, right? Okay, well, let's look at the flip side of things. Let's say your repairs are at $50,000. Now, if you're an investor here, you probably already know kind of where things fall. $50,000. Let me ask you, deal or no deal? Do you have a clue? Do you think you can kind of guess if this is a deal or not for a flip? Deal or no deal for flip on this one? What you think? Lola says yes, on houses less than 100K purchase price, great teaching. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing too. Okay. So the thing is, guys, you can possibly get financial freedom on one property. Maybe if it's even multifamilies sometimes don't make a lot of cash flow in a year. So it's rare, but it could happen. Financial freedom is really building up that portfolio throughout the year, and you keep going, right? Year one, year two. After a year, can you gain financial freedom? Yes, it's possible. After 2 years, yes. After 3 years, highly realistic. After 5 years, extremely realistic to gain financial freedom if you're an active investor and consistently doing deals, right? Depends on the activities. Really, garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what you get. Sometimes you strike really like home run deals, financial freedom deals. Those happen too, right? It could be a big deal, it could be a small one. Maybe on this property, you decided to do midterm rentals, for instance, and you were doing insurance companies. Um, I don't know if the size of property will qualify for that kind of luxury pricing. But let's say you could, put a pool, maybe you had a pool, you spice things up, you didn't have to spend so much, and now insurance company says they'll pay you $15,000 in a month. So that's financial freedom for some people. 15,000 a month in rents per month on one property. So there are some luxury houses that make 15,000, 20,000 in a month, right? But those don't happen frequently, and there are a lot of things they look at to be at luxury. Okay, so yes. Okay, so no deal for you. Ed Morin says no deal at repairs of $50,000. Okay, so actually, and then Tarsha also says no deal. Actually, so this actually gave you a profit of $40,000. So does that change your mind on whether it's a deal or not? Your strategy is Burr. I like Burr. Burr is the best strategy ever. Love it. Yeah. So who likes the idea of making $40,000 on a flip, right? So within coaching, we say nothing less than $40,000, and this one meets that criteria. So deal or no deal? I know you guys said no deal. Deal or no deal on this one? I'll say a deal. It's fine, right? It's okay. If you make $40,000, it'll probably take you 4 months, three to 4 months on average, um, for duration of the flip or in and outs, depending on the area and how you're able to sell it, right? So it's not a bad return on your time, and also it depends, right? For some people, it's not worth it. If you're making $1 million a month already on your $1 million a year already on your 9 to 5, you probably don't want to waste your time though, or maybe it's just not worth your time. So yeah, if it's not worth your time, it's not worth your time. But I think for most people, $40,000 profit on a deal is worth their time. So Tarsha says, "I'll take it." Yes, I'll take it. Ruth still says no deal. You want to rent. If you're saying that because you want to rent instead of flip, let me know in the comments why you still want to rent at $500 a month instead of taking the $40,000 profit. Please calculate the flip. Please calculate the flip. What do you mean calculate the flip? It's fair. Yeah, it's fair, right? So the profit on the flip is fair. Lola says it's fair, but equity in the long run is key for me. Thank you. Okay, so talking about that, what Ed Morin just said equity in the long run is key for him. So let's say the property appreciation, you found out, you're like, oh my goodness, this is a good area. So properties can actually appreciate at 10% yearly in this area. Wow. Um, Am I gonna flip? I don't know. Now $500 looks attractive to me, right? So that means that you're gonna be at a minimum at around, let's just say, or minimum, because for the first year you're at $25,000, right? For the first year, I'm just gonna try and expand this a little bit. No, that's not working. Okay, for the first year you're at $25,000. For the first year, you're at $25,000 in equity. So if you're adding that $25,000 to, I'm not going to calculate the cash flow, the profit on the flip, because I have to use a deal analyzer. We're not doing complicated things on this coaching. On this, no, this is not a coaching call. This is a live session. In coaching, we use the analyzers and we go more complex, but we're not going to do that here because we're going to lose a lot of people. This is mostly newbie stuff. But if you have your deal analyzer, you can put in numbers on properties that are for sale, and that would be perfect. You probably spent maybe 30 minutes analyzing a property. If you really want to go in depth into finding the ARV, calculating repairs, and doing all of that, it's pretty chunky to do. Okay, but I have brought out that result for you here. And let's say the cash flow is at $6,000. Well, we're not saying, because we already said $500 a month. If you multiply $500 by 12, right, that's already at 6,000. So that already brings us to 31,000. I don't want to keep using this mouse, so it's not like in your face. So $31,000. $31,000, right? In the in the first year. Then the second year, you see what Edmonton is saying. The second year, if you're adding that $25,000 in appreciation yearly to your ARV, right? Where you're at, so you're at 275,000 in ARV. And now the following year, if it's still appreciating at 10%, you're at 27,500 on top of that. Shortly, you are at 300,000. The property is worth 300,000. It's worth more. And you can pull out equity eventually as you go, right? So cash flow is at 6,000. So does it make sense how you can choose to eat your cake quickly or wait to get more out of your cake? So what do you guys think about holding it in this case? Tarsha says, I'll take it. Okay, no, that was from before. Hello, Doa. What do you think? Right? Deal or no deal at rent, if you were looking to rent it in this case. Yes, so Ruth says she's going to wait instead and keep getting that yearly thing. It's a property, it's going to keep producing income, it's going to keep producing money, right? Yes, Ed Morin, you got it. Ed Morin says, and I can cash out refi but that cash and put that cash on the next property. Yeah, I got it. I got what you meant. And you put that cash on the next property, right? Exactly. So sometimes the $500 is not a deal breaker because we're kind of being futuristic. So that's why some people would take $500 over 40,000. Why would people not just flip? Just keep flipping, right? Okay. So here we're at 6,000 yearly. So what if for flip, on the flip side, your repairs were at 90K? I'm sure I know the answer because that you guys would give, because that 40K is not it was a hard it was a hard one for you guys to accept, I think. Tarsha says it depends if you want your money now or later. Depends on the strategy, but it also depends on how much you want to. Are you willing to wait to make more, or do you want to just keep finding properties and turning them over and doing a lot of work? Or do you want to quickly get to a point where you don't have to keep doing that much work, right? Initially in real estate investing, and I found that true for me as well, initially a lot of hustling goes on where you pretty much doing a lot of turnover, and then after a while you don't really, it depends on your goals, you don't really need to do as much when you start to hit or when you exceed your goal, right? Yes, I would appreciate it at the long run. Okay, cool. Real estate is delayed gratification. Cool. Yes, it's delayed gratification, but it's also not suffering, right? So if you need that money, you better flip it. if you're like me and you quit your job and you need to keep moving, right? So you're gonna flip and move on, and you're gonna hold next time, right? So it's delayed gratification if you can. If you had the option, if you had the choice. But yes, looking at this, I would choose this instead. So repairs at 90K definitely is a no deal because your profit is at zero. Profit is at zero. This is not a deal. And so if your repairs goes higher because, now they're saying there's a septic system that needs to be completely changed, and the seller is not budging on the price, they're really firm, they're not doing anything, and plus it needs maybe HVAC replacements, maybe it needs a new heating system or new cooling system, and the whole deal goes upside down because of that additional information you found out upon inspection. So when you had this property under contract, it was basically based on what you were seeing as is, right? But now after inspection, you're seeing those additional things and it makes no sense. So at $90,000 in repairs, your profit is at zero. So no, it is not a deal. Okay. Any questions on this? Yes, thank you for that. Okay, cool. Okay, so in this, we're still gonna go back to this particular property. Our buy price is at 170,000. ARV is at 250. That's the after repair value. And your rent, it's the property is gonna rent for 2,300 like we had before. Its expenses at 300. So things are staying the same here. But right here, your mortgage interest is at 9%, which is extremely realistic in this market. So your mortgage interest, and also with credit score, if you don't have a good credit score when you're trying to do this, it might, it might just get fetch you a bad term, depending on lender. So you got to try different lenders from, it will vary from one lender to another what they're offering you. But in this case, unfortunately, due to your fault or no fault of yours, interest rate is at 9%. And now your mortgage is at 1950. What do you guys think? Flipping is pretty much the same thing, right? Nothing really changes as far as that goes because of this one variable, which is the mortgage interest changing from 6% now to 9%. We loved the idea. We loved the idea of renting with that, right? But in this case, what do you think? Do you think you're still gonna want to rent? Do you think you're still gonna rent? Yes, Ed Morin, you're welcome. Take care. Are you gonna rent this property? Cash flow in this case, if you're already calculating that, your cash flow is at 2,300 minus 300 minus 1950. So you're subtracting all your expenses and mortgage from your monthly rent. Does this even make sense? No, right? Funke says no. Tarsha says no. Profit will be too low. Exactly. So profit is at $50 per month in cash flow. Some people will say it's okay. I mean, this clearly shows that there's no reserves. You don't have any reserves, only $50. So if something breaks, that will put you at a negative. If there's a tenant complaint or something breaks, or you can't even put money away to improve anything. So deal or no deal? No, this is not a deal. So you can see how the numbers kind of vary depending on what your strategy is, depending on what you're looking to do, depending on your interest rate. Now we're going to go into another property. This is, you can see, it looks more like a higher end property. It's higher end, it's cute. And you probably already have an idea whether you should be holding this property or not, right? So the buy price on this one is 300,000. The after repair value, it does need some updates. It looks beautiful on the outside, but it needs some updates inside. So the after repair value is 550. This property would only rent for 3,000. It would fetch you 3,000. And you have expenses at $600. You have mortgage interests at 6%, right? And your mortgage comes to $2,500 every month. Would you be able to rent this property? Deal or no deal? What is your cash flow? Is this a deal? Remember, cash flow is rent, if you're calculating that, minus your expense, minus your mortgage, right? So, mortgage and all other expenses. subtract that from from rent, right? Lola already says flip. Tasha says no deal. Ruth says no deal. Perfect. Right? So your cash flow is at 3,000 minus 600 minus 2,500, and it puts you at a negative $100. So it means every month you own this property, you're going to be losing $100. But the property wasn't bad. You bought it for, in quotes, cheap, right? $300. And ARV is it's actually worth 515, right? It's great value property. Oh, I want to rent it because I want to hold properties. I want to have a big portfolio. I want things to, I just want to grow, and you have no idea how to grow. So now you see that you're going to be losing money every single month. It's not worth it. Even if you're only losing a little bit, even if you're only losing $1, you're going to be annoyed. You're going to be tired every month. You have to cough that out for this property. So don't even do it, right? And so, no, that's not a deal to flip. Lola says, I will flip for 75,000 to 100K and sell at 550. I like you. I like how you predict what we're going to do. And Ruth says that is a big loss. And says coming in. Yeah, there's no money coming in. Yes, exactly. Right. For some people, $100 a month is not a big loss. It's investment. I am investing in a property. You can see how big and gigantic this property is. It's nice. At least I don't have to like pay the whole mortgage out of pocket. It's only $100 loss. But no, don't do it. Okay, you don't want to be there to know that you shouldn't do it, because then you're gonna have a tenant in there and you're desperate to sell and you have to wait for them to move and all that stuff. So you might as well just decide earlier on that you're not gonna do that. Okay, so repairs in this case is at $80,000. Okay, and your profits, like Lola said, is at 70K, right? Ish, right? Or more, actually, 70K or more. Definitely, there's a lot of room in there to make more than 70K, right? So you can clearly see how the price point, this is definitely a deal. The price points on a property can actually determine whether you should be flipping this property or not flipping this property, whether you should be renting this property or not renting this property. So going by these examples, if you had to say to rent to flip, low price point property, should you be renting, flipping both? High price point properties, should you be renting, flipping both? What would you guys say? Please say that. Tell us in the comments if you kind of have an idea of what you should be doing with high price point properties and low price point properties. Okay. Because that will help you a lot. When you look at a property, you already know what not to do with it. Rather than taking all the time to go put that in your deal analyzer and calculating and saying, oh, wow, okay, and you've wasted a lot of time. So up front, you kind of have an idea of what to do, your exit strategies on that particular property. Okay. Any questions? And that will lead us to our resources for tonight. We have some resources for you guys. And Meg is here to help. If you're on Instagram, Meg has the resources. If you want the resource, you just got to type that in the comments. So the resource is deal decision checklist to flip or to rent. Okay, so it's a deal decision checklist for every investor or aspiring investor. You need to know what you're doing. Okay, so type resources in the comments if you want that, and Meg is going to send that over to you. So you just need to type resources in the comments, okay? And Meg will take care of you. Remember to check your inbox. Okay, if you're on Facebook, remember to check your inbox. If you're on Instagram, remember to check your inbox. And both categories, remember to check your spam. Okay, the spam usually has a lot of things. You guys just gotta check that spam. Okay, so just type resources in the comments, and Meg's gonna take care of you. Okay, and also if you want to join coaching, if you want to start your journey into real estate investing, you want to start to do step by step, build your portfolio, definitely type coaching in the comments and we'll reach out to you and Actually, you'll have a call scheduled with me so we can discuss what your goals are and what you're looking to realize and see if it's a good fit for you. Definitely different from being a realtor. We're not realtors because sometimes I get that. I want to be a realtor. I want to go to realtor school, but that's not what we do. We are investors. We buy properties, we hold properties, we sell as needed. We make money on properties and we hold them passively, right? So we don't have to have a 9 to 5. I don't have a 9 to 5. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in 8 years, right? Um, because of real estate investing, and there are many people who are that way too. So if you're really thinking about the future, you should be thinking about getting your own properties. So definitely type coaching in the comments. I don't see any questions on this training, and that means that maybe you got everything 100%, and that's good to know. Please say good night in the comments to everyone. Just say good night. You're welcome, Lola. Thank you as well. Just say good night in the comments to everyone here. And thanks for being a part of the community. We have a community on Facebook, about 3,000 people ish. And then I also have my people on following on Instagram, um, connected to this live. Maybe YouTube. I don't know. Maybe one person on YouTube right now. But thank you everyone for being here. It was such a pleasure to look at fixing or renting and trying to decide what to do based on the numbers. If you have additional resources to calculate your numbers, definitely feel free to do that. But you'll kind of go out more confidently now knowing that this property numbers does not make sense for this exit strategy and all that. So good night. Namesake says namesake. Namsel Babi, are you Yinka too? I see you saying good night. I love and appreciate your teaching. Thank you so much. And I love and appreciate you as well. Everyone on Facebook and Instagram, have a great night and thank you. See you on the next one. Bye.